You're watching Round Roanoke, your source for what's happening in the Valley. I'm your host, Margaret-Hunter Wade. It's being billed as a big party where the punch is spiked with science. Coordinated by the Science Museum of Western Virginia and Virginia Tech, what started out as a local festival has blossomed into a statewide celebration of science. Here to tell us more about the 2014 Virginia Science Festival are Jim Rawlings and Michael Hemphill, both with the Science Museum of Western Virginia. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Good to see you guys and some fun props that we'll be talking about later. But first, what is a science festival? This is a newer term, I think, for the Valley.
It's an event that has been building in popularity really around the country and already in many states. And we had looked at that and said, you know, we ought to have a science festival here in Roanoke. It's just such fun. The idea is, as you said in the intros, is it's a party. And we try to make a festival of it and have fun with it. And in the meantime, you're going to get exposed to science and technology. And it's a family event.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. So the inspiration for one right here in our region, right here in Roanoke, celebrating science, what's the idea behind that?
Well, let Michael take that.
Well, sure. So we have fortunate to have some great partnerships with Virginia Tech, with Roanoke-Blacksburg Technology Council, and with all of them together, just decided that it'd be a great way to showcase you know, science and technology, especially for families and young kids. And so we're going to have more than 100 different exhibits from NASA, from Virginia Tech, Carilion Clinic, the Virginia Tech Carilion Research Institute, and on. It's just going to be a great time for families. Excellent.
So, as I said in the opening, this has blossomed beyond just right here in the Valley. This is truly statewide. So what's making this the Virginia Science Festival?
Well, you know, it did start out as a little thing out in front of Center in the Square in downtown Roanoke, and exploded. I think that's the word we're using. And it's because a couple of the political aides of our two U.S. senators, Senator Kane, Senator Warner, attended a planning meeting. And they got together and basically said, this thing is bigger than this. This is really great. It ought to be statewide. And if you'll do that, the senators will serve as honorary co-chairs. And you don't get that offer too often when you're working on these things. So we said yes. And since that time, Michael has been directing the formation, the organization, and the presentation of basically two science festivals, Blacksburg and Roanoke in October, and then the statewide growth has gone all over Virginia.
Excellent. So when people come, what are they going to see? What can they expect at this festival?
The variety is huge, and Michael is touching on it. One of my favorites is the NASA exhibit, which is their Earth dome and their Orion space vehicle, which are inflatables that are large and really imposing and a lot of fun. But it starts at the north end of town at the Taubman Museum, runs all the way down Market Street to Elmwood Park, and then there's a trolley out to the Research Center, Virginia Tech Carilion Research Institute, to take advantage of exhibits there, as well as at the Jefferson College that's there on Elm Street. So it will incorporate the whole sort of the geography of downtown. And that's the Roanoke Festival on the 11th of October. The Blacksburg Festival on the 4th, which kicks off the week, is just as big and ambitious in that location.
Excellent. And the public is invited to all of this. Is it free of charge?
Yes. And we're able to do that because of, you know, sponsorship support that we received from Cox Cable, from Appalachian Power as our main sponsor. They stepped forward immediately and said, we want to be part of this with a $25,000 sponsorship.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great. WDBJ7 is putting on Weatherfest in downtown Roanoke and also serving as a great sponsor as well. So, you know, it's free because of, you know, sponsorship support from our local community.
Excellent. Well, show us what you got so we can do that.
A couple of things. We want to emphasize the hands-on and real nature of a science festival. For example, this fossil trilobite is 350 million years old, and it's genuine, and we want you to be able to touch that.
Excellent.
On loan to us from the Edward Via College of Osteopathic Medicine in Blacksburg, this is a plastinated or turned to plastic human heart.
Wow.
And this we use for teaching in the Science Museum. And, you know, you don't have to go to medical school to put hands on these kinds of things.
Very
And there may be some people who are not as interested in that, but for those who are, it's an amazing opportunity. And then, of course, we like to do our science experiments and demonstrations. So I have a couple of Dixie cups. This one has some here. Let me have you just drink. It's just water. Just
all right.
Prove for me this is just water, okay?
It's good old water.
Plain old tap water.
Yep.
Okay. So here's the trick. I'm going to pour this tap water into this cup, and then I'm going to turn this cup over.
Whoa.
That's the disappearing water trick, and
cool.
Magicians use this. It's actually a trick with some white powder that we use. It's the diaper powder. It's Huggies, Pampers, Depends.
Gotcha.
They all have this powder in them, and they absorb water. You can touch that. It feels like Jell-O.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's actually still there, of course.
Excellent.
So anyway, that's the fun of it, is the hands-on and fun nature of the Science Festival.
Well, I think it's great. We're glad to be a part of it and hope everybody enjoys it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can find out more about the 2014 Virginia Science Festival and other events happening in the Roanoke Valley on the community calendar coming up at the break. I'm Margaret-Hunter Wade, and you're watching Round Roanoke on Cox 9. Thanks for tuning in.